Alright everybody, the Xbox Showcase has come and gone, and in a year that was rather middling, if I have to say so myself, we saw a lot of games from mostly third-party developers, plenty of games from Korea, plenty of games from Japan. There were a handful of first-party titles shown, but the one first-party title in particular that absolutely stole the spotlight at this year's Xbox Showcase was Clockwork Revolution from inXile Entertainment. These guys cooked with this game, man. It looks absolutely incredible. Stylistically, it's such a unique vision. The super traditional steampunk art direction that they're going for. The first-person shooting gameplay looks super fluid. The RPG elements, character creation, dialogue, choosing a background, like skill point allocation, there's so much to unpack here. And this was easily my game of the show for the Xbox Showcase 2025, and we're going to talk about it right now. So if you guys find that you enjoy this video and you're also super hyped for Clockwork Revolution, please, by all means, hit the like button on the video and consider subscribing to the channel, because this is going to be a game that I'm going to continue to talk about for a while. I'm so pumped for this one. This one looks incredible. But before we jump into the video proper, a quick word from today's sponsor. If you're looking for something that'll help you to let your inner gamer out, 4XP is absolutely the perfect choice. If you're interested in any of their products or trying out their energy drink mix, you can use my code 4XPRealm for a 10% discount at checkout. Click on the link in the description down below to visit their website, and thank you once again to 4XP Gaming for sponsoring today's video. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there were a lot of games here that were shown that kind of just made me think that this was sort of a very middling showcase. I think if I had to rate it, I'd give it probably like a B+. It was alright. It definitely wasn't as strong as last year's show. There were plenty of games that they revealed and that they showcased here that just, I'm not part of the target demographic for many of these titles. Clockwork Revolution, on the other hand, captured everybody's attention. This is the one game I've seen from the Xbox Showcase this year that everybody was talking about across social media, across YouTube. The reaction to this game was basically unanimous praise. This game also presents an opportunity for the developers inXile Entertainment to really come out of their shell and provide us with this huge, big budget AAA game that we've really never seen from them before. They've traditionally focused on making isometric RPGs or more hardcore CRPGs. You know, these are the guys who made the Bard's Tale games. They made the Wasteland series, which inspired the Fallout series, believe it or not. So they have heavy hardcore RPG background. They don't really have the first-person shooter background that you would expect, especially based on how amazing the gameplay looks, which we're gonna get into that momentarily. But I really think that this is gonna be a chance for inXile to shine and get some mainstream success and some mainstream appeal in a way that maybe they really haven't had in the past. Now, the setting of Clockwork Revolution is a really interesting one. I get a lot of BioShock Infinite and Dishonored vibes here. There's a heavy focus on mechanical automatons wandering around, like basically robot servants for the upper class. inXile also seems to be focusing a lot on the class divisions between the poor and the wealthy. That also seems to be a very important component of the story and also just kind of the overarching setting of the game, which takes place in the fictional steampunk metropolis known as Avalon. Another thing that really shocked me about this game was just how funny it is. There's a ton of dark humor here, and it's very much in the same vein as the Fallout series. The art design also, man, the steampunk, that traditional steampunk aesthetic in Clockwork Revolution just is so amazingly captivating to look at. All of the gears and spinning machinery, all of the different character outfits, how British it is, which is funny because the game is very much inspired by that Victorian era industrial revolution London that the Arcane Studios team also drew a lot of inspiration from for Dunwall in the original Dishonored. And on a larger note, this game is just so Dishonored and BioShock Infinite coded, it's not even funny. I'm seeing so many parallels that can be drawn between Clockwork Revolution and those games. You know, the city of Avalon reminds me a lot of the city of Columbia in BioShock Infinite, and the sort of industrial brutalist aspects of the game remind me a lot of the city of Dunwall and the work that the artists at Arcane and Victor Antonov did for that game. Now, one of the things that I think surprised a lot of people with the trailer for Clockwork Revolution, and it certainly surprised me, was how in-depth the game is as an RPG, which for fans of inXile will probably come as no surprise. I have never actually played inXile's previous games, so the fact that they showcased just how heavy they're focusing on the hardcore RPG elements, that to me was a huge bonus for this showing. And yeah, the RPG elements just look incredible. Let's kind of dig into some of those. So the first thing we have is character backgrounds. So you can actually choose an origin story for your main character, which your character backgrounds are also going to determine your character traits, which look like maybe they might be some sort of passive skills of some kind that sort of affect your moment-to-moment gameplay in less obvious ways. We also have attributes, and this seems to be basically like one-to-one with the special system from Fallout. You have your charisma, your agility, your strength, your luck. All of that stuff is here and present in Clockwork Revolution, and it's going to present a lot of opportunities for players to really specialize in a character build, but also it's going to present millions and millions of potential diverse build options for RPG players as well. Whether you want to be a character that just focuses on brute forcing your way through every single scenario you encounter, or if you want to be a silver-tongued devil who just talks their way out of bad situations, or if you want to be more of a stealthy player, more agile, you find alternate ways through your objectives or through main quests and side quests, things like that. inXile also showcased full custom character creation because yes, while you are playing a defined role, your character's name is actually Morgan Vanette, and you're a member of some sort of street gang in Avalon. You do have agency over how your character looks, and ultimately whether you decide to make them male or female. And your character is also voiced. You have a voice protagonist in this game, which I know is probably going to make a lot of people really nervous. I think just based on inXile's previous track record, they're going to handle this just fine. And if this trailer was anything to indicate, the voice protagonist is actually going to be handled really well compared to something like Fallout 4, where maybe it was a little bit more divisive. We also got a good look at some dialogue trees, very briefly, but you can actually have conversations with multiple NPCs at once, which I don't know if I've ever seen an RPG handle that before. Usually you're just having a back and forth dialogue between yourself and one character at a time, but this situation that they show in the trailer is actually really interesting because depending on who you speak to, it can directly affect the well-being of the other person involved in that conversation, as we saw with this poor guy named Errol who just got a gold candlestick right straight to the noggin, and that character will be permanently dead for the rest of this particular Morgan's playthrough. It's actually so interesting how just a simple dialogue exchange can mean life or death for certain NPCs. That's a very interesting way that inXile is handling reactivity to the player's choices. And overall, it just seems like there is a really large focus on more traditional role-playing and character building. There seems to be a lot of really genuine choice and consequence that is present in Clockwork Revolution, and inXile really seems to be focusing a lot on how reactive the world is going to be to your choices and how reactive characters will be to your choices and your dialogue options. But the world reactivity, I think, is going to be the most important aspect of Clockwork Revolution because of the most important mechanic in the game, narratively and gameplay-wise, which is time travel. All of you know I'm a sucker for time travel, and this game looks like it's gonna knock it out of the park. Time travel is going to present a ton of opportunities for inXile to tell really unique stories, and for the player to craft their own unique story in Clockwork Revolution. And honestly, the way that inXile have explained how they're going to utilize time travel in this game, and also just what we've seen very briefly from this trailer and the trailer that was shown years ago, just seems to indicate that there's going to be millions of potential story branches, potentially even putting something like Baldur's Gate 3 to shame. I'm also seeing a lot of Dishonored influence in how there's probably going to be multiple ways to accomplish your objectives in the main quests, in the side quests, probably utilizing some of that time travel tech that your main character acquires for themselves. And this game almost kind of seems to be immersive sim adjacent, which seems really interesting. They're taking a lot of inspiration from games like Vampire the Masquerade, from Fallout, from Arcanum, which the game director of Clockwork Revolution actually had a hand in developing some of those games. Now the gameplay, Clockwork Revolution is actually going to be a RPG, obviously, but there's going to be, as well as that, a heavy focus on first-person shooter combat, which to me personally just seems very reminiscent of BioShock in the way it looks, and also probably in the way it feels. And just the fact that it looks this polished and this good already is, in my opinion, a really good sign for how the development of the game is likely progressing. We also get a very brief look at really in-depth weapon customization. You can change everything from the receiver, the barrel, the stock. There's a bunch of different scopes that we get to take a look at, like red dot sights during the gameplay showcase. And there's a huge variety of guns. We got pistols, rifles, shotguns. There's throwable grenades. There's throwable turrets, which you can toss down to help distract enemies and take away some of the aggro off of yourself, as well as the time powers with Morgan's Gauntlet. You can use your time powers to shoot an enemy and literally rip the bullets out of their corpse and return it to the magazine of your currently equipped gun, which is, that in and of itself is incredible, but there's more. You can also slow down time so that the projectiles your enemies fire at you will be halted almost to a turtle-like crawl. If you find yourself at the brink of death, you can actually reverse time and take your character back to a point before they were brought to the brink of death. So make it basically like your mistake never happened in the first place. You can also give your enemies the Indiana Jones treatment and just age them into skeletons and dust, which that just is the cherry on top. All of the time powers look absolutely amazing, so the possibilities for moment-to-moment gameplay situations is also going to be just incredible in Clockwork Revolution. I genuinely cannot wait to see what I'm going to be able to do playing the game, and also what other players are going to be able to do playing this game, hopefully when it comes out soon. And speaking of the release date, that is unfortunately the most disappointing part of this whole trailer that they showed. All we got was coming in due time, so the game likely won't be launching in 2026 or in 2025. They would have said otherwise. The reason I don't think it's going to be launching in 2026 is because at the end of the Xbox showcase, Phil Spencer showed up and mentioned briefly that next year is going to be Xbox's 25th anniversary, and they already have, from the sound of it, a stacked lineup. We can expect the next Fable game from Playground Games. We can expect the next Forza title. We know that we're getting Gears of War E-Day. He even hinted that we're going to be seeing another Halo game from the newly minted Halo Studios, which is likely the heavily rumored Halo Combat Evolved remake in Unreal Engine 5 that many of us in the community have heard rumblings about for a really long time now. All of this makes me think that 2027 is likely going to be the release year for Clockwork Revolution, and while 2026 might seem like a stacked year, and 2025 up to this point has been a really stacked year, oh boy, 2027 is going to be a treat. 2027 could likely feature Clockwork Revolution, Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, Blade, and maybe the big one, Elder Scrolls 6. So if you guys think that 2025 has already been a busy year and 2026 is shaping up to be busy, 2027 could be a mind-blowing year for Xbox first-party game releases, and Clockwork Revolution could be right at the head of the pack. Again, I just cannot heap enough praise onto this game. This showcase, I was already excited for Clockwork Revolution when it was first unveiled, but this just totally sealed my approval and my hype level for this game. I cannot wait for what inXile are cooking up with this thing. It looks incredible. Everything that I mentioned, the setting, the art design, the gameplay, the heavy focus on hardcore RPG elements and character building. Clockwork Revolution is going to be something special, man. So if any of the inXile devs are watching this video, I want to say, number one, congratulations on the re-reveal of the game. It looks absolutely fantastic. And number two, I seriously am so excited. I cannot wait to play this game. I know I've said that a million times in this video by now, but that really is how I feel, and that's the best way for me to sum up my thoughts. This was the highlight of the Xbox Showcase 2025, and now the most important thing that I want to know is what you guys think of Clockwork Revolution. Are you excited for this game? Have any of you guys played the Bard's Tale games? Have you played the Wasteland series? I've heard great things about Wasteland 3. I might have to actually check that out now that Clockwork Revolution has me just so incredibly hyped. Or is Clockwork Revolution just something that doesn't really tickle your fancy? Do you feel like you're just not the target demographic for that? You don't really feel like it's your speed, which is also totally fine. Either way, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys because I want to talk about this game. This is all I've been able to think about since the Xbox Showcase concluded. Once again, if you did enjoy this video and you found it informative or insightful in any way, I do invite you to hit that like button on the video, and also, once again, consider subscribing to the channel because this is a game I'm going to be talking about the closer and closer we get to launch, and I'm definitely going to be playing it and covering it for the channel. There is no doubt in my mind about that. I also do have a Discord server that there is a link to in the description down below. Anybody who has not yet joined, you are more than welcome into our community. We would love for all of you to jump in and join the discussion with myself and the amazing community that we have here on this channel. And remember that the outsider walks among us. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all next time.